Good evening and welcome to Sunset News this Wednesday evening.
As always, we're bringing news, community stories, economics, weather and sports. I am Diana Master.
And I am Glenora Shipura. Getting into the news tonight, Philanda Christian was appointed as judge of the High Court after being publicly interviewed by the Judicial Service Commission on the 8th of December 2023 at the Supreme Court amongst two other short-listed candidates. Her appointment is effective the 1st of January 2024, and she was appointed by the President on the recommendation of the Judicial Service Commission. Advocate Beatrice De Jager, who was also part of the public interviews, was appointed as acting judge for the period of the 16th of January 2024 to the 16th of April 2024. This was confirmed by the spokesperson of the judiciary, Victoria Hango. Now, the public interviews were aimed at promoting transparency and accountability. I'll say it's a good thing that, the judicial system is doing this, in light of promoting transparency and accountability.
Definitely so. Now, getting into the next of our top stories, the Agriculture Ministry has refuted claims that some of the green schemes in the Kavango East have turned into grazing areas. The ministry was responding to a recent media report which claimed green schemes such as Shitemo and Ndongalinena are not producing food, but instead have turned into grazing areas for cattle in and around the area. Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform spokesperson Jonah Musheko, in a written response, indicated that the ministry can also speak on issues surrounding the Ndongalinena Green Scheme, whilst the Shitemo Green Scheme is run by the Namibia Industrial Development Agency. We would like to clarify that the Shitemo Green Scheme does not necessarily fall under MAWLR, but it is being managed by NIDA, and MAWLR is informed that it is being operated by a private entity, Musheko explained. As of Ndongalinena Green Scheme, it is misleading to insinuate that no production activities are happening, hence our plea for rectification. Currently at the commercial part, we have 66 hectares already planted with maize, and they are completing planting another 132 hectares of maize in a few days. In addition to the above, there is 176 hectares of small-scale farmers that we are currently planting maize as well. Lastly, we are working on expanding production to phase 2 of the farm by adding additional over 80 hectares of land.
Now, getting into our next story, the Student Union of Namibia has publicly scrutinized a scholarship by the Presidential Advisor on Economic Policy, James Nupe, and is calling the scholarship discriminatory. In a press statement, the union's national chairperson, Makoya Vernet, questioned Nupe's decision to single out students from the Namibia University of Science and Technology and the University of Namibia. James Nupe, through his Facebook page, gave out a discriminatory scholarship opportunity to Namibian students, only focusing on UNAM and NUST. While the Students' Union of Namibia is not surprised, the union is so shocked that Nupe cannot practice the Christian faith he believes in. The statement read, now the conditions for the scholarship, among others, are that the scholarship is looking for a male and female student. It will cover full tuition at NUST or UNAM and will only cover first attempts for any chosen module. While we should acknowledge people's wishes to help other people, it is scary to see that a leading figure, the Green Hydrogen Project Commissioner, has a stance only to single out two universities than to play an inclusive role that will see other universities and TVETs to grow. Now, moreover, TVETs play a prominent role in such projects. Thus, the union questions such a decision and fears that we still discriminate against ourselves, the chairperson added. The scholarship application deadline is on the 4th of January, and applicants are required to submit 1,200 to 1,500 word essays on how their chosen course of study will assist in contributing to Namibia's green industrialization agenda.
I mean, hey, at the end of the day, this is the James Nupe scholarship,
exactly,
right? And those are his terms. At the end of the day, people are entitled to their own opinions and exactly what terms they want.
And to be fair, it's the first of its kind, to be
Yes.
fair. So there's obviously room for improvement. Maybe next year there's going to be, branch outs and so forth. I mean, it's his first attempt. I think people are being very harsh, or the student society is being a little too harsh on him, I would say.
And I mean, at the end of the day, he is still helping.
Yes.
Right? It's unlike he's not doing anything at all. So honestly speaking, I don't think it is as much a big deal as we are making it, because at the end of the day, he is still helping out. And
that's
like you're
what
saying,
counts. Yeah.
it is a learning curve. So maybe it is still the first phase. So he's still, of course, also finding his footing, finding out how to go about certain things. So I guess in the future, we can look forward to, more institutions being included.
Yeah, but maybe instead of criticizing, we could advise.
Yes.
Maybe you should attempt to do this in this manner. I mean, I'm just saying. Well, after the break, we'll be getting into our story of the day, and we'll be taking a look at the activist, Michael Amushelelo. To stay with Sunset News.
Getting into our story of the day, activist Saddam Amushelelo told Namibian Sun that he plans on organizing another high unemployment protest on Independence Day this year, 21 March 2024. Amushelelo was released from police custody in October 2023 after spending close to 7 months behind bars following an unauthorized protest against unemployment on Independence Day last year. The activist was joined by Member of Parliament Ina Hengari and fellow activist Dimbulukeni Nauyoma. According to Amushelelo, he will follow up on several labor-related cases which have not been resolved. I have plenty of pending labor matters that need to be attended to, especially given the fact that last year I took a 7-month absence due to unlawful imprisonment. Expect me to be dealing with the very same issues because we have not yet resolved them. I'm also going to plan the biggest protest of workers calling for Utoni Nauyoma to be fired, Saddam Amushelelo told the publication.
Wow. I'm actually very, keen to find out how this plays out, granted that last year he ended up being arrested for the protest that happened on, the 21st of March, 2023. So I'm very, very interested to see how this plays out.
Definitely. Now, after the break, we get into our economic news, and tonight we talk cheap plowing that is threatening food security. Stay tuned.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
In our economic news, plowing with state-procured tractors is cheaper for farmers. However, the long lease and the limited tractors per region, subsistence farmers are placed in a dilemma which threatens food security for their households. Subsistence farmers are charged $250 million per hectare if they make use of state-procured tractors, which save them between $300 and $500 million if they have to opt for a private tractor, which charges between $550 million to $750 million per hectare. The government has procured 350 tractors through Namibia Agricultural Mechanization and Seed Improvement Projects. These tractors are distributed to all 14 regions to aid farmers with plowing and planting services. With the limited state-procured tractors and the thousands of villages in the region, those who have registered to benefit from the subsidized plowing prices are forced to wait until the tractor comes to their village. With the unpredictable rainfall, it frustrates farmers who are waiting for the tractors, as they would prefer plowing and planting when a good rain falls. Oshana Governor Elia Irimari also shared his sentiments on the government tractors, saying that it is a frustrating exercise for those who cannot afford to make use of privately owned tractors. Irimari urged those who are waiting for the state-procured tractors but have the means to pay for a private tractor to go ahead and procure those services if they find themselves in a situation of good rains and they don't want to delay the process.
I definitely understand the frustration. Like the article says, when a good rain comes,
you need to capitalize on it. Yes.
Exactly. You don't want to necessarily wait, but what can be done to, ease these frustrations?
And, the government came from such a good place, and it's a great initiative. I know, as a farmer myself, tractors are a big deal, and they're very expensive to just buy yourself. So if you can rent a tractor for very cheap, that's really, really good. But to hear of this, these issues is also, a bit concerning. I don't know what the ministry can do to
ease that burden on farmers and to basically... Because at the end of the day, if you get the tractor whilst it's plowing season and I have to wait, it's definitely going to cause a lot of rift between the farmers and a lot of jealousy, I would say. But now let's take a look at the financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 23.37 to the British pound, 20.30 to the euro, 18.54 to the US dollar, and 2 Namibian dollars and 59 cents buys you 1 Chinese yuan. Looking at commodities, gold and platinum took upturns of 0.27 and 0.23% respectively, while copper and Brent crude oil both took dips of 0.01% and 0.4% respectively. In international news after the break, Sudan's RSF open to talks on immediate ceasefire with the army. We'll return with the full details of the story after this break.
eTicket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Neopaints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neopaints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neopaints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Now getting into our international news, Sudan's paramilitary rapid support forces group said it was open to an immediate unconditional ceasefire through talks with the Sudanese army as it signed a declaration with the Takadum civilian coalition and invited the army to do the same. A 9-month war in Sudan, which now faces the world's largest displacement crisis, has devastated the country's infrastructure and prompted warnings of famine. Attempts to end the conflict through negotiations led by the United States and Saudi Arabia have so far come to nothing, and previous agreements to protect civilians have gone unheeded. By signing the so-called Addis Ababa Declaration, which is intended to serve as the basis for further negotiations and a political settlement, the RSF has made its clearest commitment to ending the war so far. If the army came with the same document, I would sign it immediately, RSF leader Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, who is known as Hemdeti, said of the declaration, which also included commitments to return millions of displaced people to their homes, create safe passages, and include civilians in peace talks. But with the RSF, which is accused by the US of crimes against humanity, gaining an upper hand in recent weeks, it is unclear to what extent Dagalo will implement the declaration's commitments. He apologized on Tuesday for violations and has said rogue actors will be dealt with.
All right, that is all for international news. We'll now be taking a quick ad break and returning with the weather predictions.
Let's take a look at the weather predictions for tomorrow. Katiba Mulilo can expect partly cloudy conditions with a minimum of 20 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 34 degrees Celsius. Rundu can also expect partly cloudy conditions with a minimum of 20 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 36 degrees Celsius. Oshakati can expect some showers with a minimum of 20 degrees Celsius. Henties Bay can expect sunny weather with a minimum of 17 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 22 degrees Celsius. Rehoboth can expect some showers with a minimum of 20 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 33 degrees Celsius. Oranjemund can also expect some sunny weather.
All right, after the break, we take a look at the news headlining the world of sport.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraita. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
E-ticket. your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Starting off our sports stories, Namibia's Brave Warriors were held by Ghana's Legon Cities in a friendly encounter. The match ended 1-1.
I'm actually quite happy with that result.
Really?
Yeah. I would have preferred a win, but it just shows that, you know what, the team is moving and the next one will be a win. You start out with a draw and then you get into a win.
But again, because it is a friendly, I think friendlies are definitely important for teams just to get the feel of their competition.
Exactly. And they don't need to do like the most. They have to save that energy for the main matches.
They can't reveal all their cards.
Exactly.
There you go.
Now moving on, South African Premiership side Sekhukhune United FC have secured the signing of Namibia's attacking midfielder Edmar Kamatuka from the University of Namibia FC. The 21-year-old, who is signed and represented by EPSA 27 agency, is currently in Ghana with the national team preparing for the AFCON 2024 campaign. Sekhukhune United FC is currently 12th in the PSL and plays in the CAF Confederation Cup.
Well, last week we were reporting that, he was, I speak under correction, under police custody because of the
I'm not so sure if it was him exactly, but there was a member of the Brave Warriors who was, I'm not so sure if it was him, so we speak under correction, but it's obviously good news for him and good news for Namibia to be represented in other countries like that.
On an international scale.
Yes.
Now, on the last of our sports stories, the news that the Hollywood Bets Sharks will start the new year at the bottom of the Vodacom United Rugby Championship log has underlined their need to win this weekend's sole match in the competition as the Emirates Lions head to Durban for the delayed derby. John Plumtree's side came close against the DHL Stormers last weekend, but it wasn't surprising to hear him talk about how he was looking forward to having his troops at home again, especially as the Sharks have just played 3 home games in all competitions this season.
And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Thank you for joining us on this lovely Wednesday evening. From me, Glenn Rashipura.
And me, Diana Master, this has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.